What's up, plant and foodie friends? Simon here, and welcome to Plant Bang. Now, before, my channel used to be called Simon Eats, but I have converted it into two of my favorite things to do, and that is to collect plants and eat food. So this channel is going to be dedicated to plants and mukbang food for you guys. And today we are going to repot this massive Monstera Deliciosa that I picked up from Plant and Friends in the Filmore in San Francisco. So be sure to check them out. I'll have the link below to their website. But look at how massive this plant is. I'm excited to plant her. And if you're wondering about my background, so here are some of my plants. Also got Jesus back here, so he's gonna pray for us while we plant this. But I also live with my grandparents, and if you're wondering why I'm wearing a mask, it's because I want to be extra careful and extra safe because I do live with my grandparents and I don't want to risk anything. Also, if you hear my dog Toby barking, he's watching me on the right. So without further ado, let's plant this Monstera Deliciosa. But look, oh my gosh, hit my chandelier. Look at how big that leaf is compared to like my hand. It's massive. And now I want to repot this because it's not only is it big, but it's growing some really massive like aerial roots, but also the soil is too coarse for me and I want to repot it with a much chunkier, hardy soil because Monsteras, they're tree climbers and they like to cling on things. So I definitely want to give it a more chunky soil, but also this type of soil holds way too much water for me, and I also want to check out the roots to make sure it's healthy. So let's get started. I'm gonna put on my gloves because I just got my nails done. Alright, so first we are gonna check the soil. Got my scissors here in case there's any root rot because I haven't checked it since I purchased. And number one rule, always check the soil after purchase and check the roots just to make sure that there's no root rot and the roots are healthy with any plant. And also check for bugs because you want to make sure that you're not bringing in pests or any of that type of craziness into your home to hurt your other plants. So let's get started. I'm going to loosen up the soil and see how the root system is on this Monstera. Oh, and I've also lined my kitchen table with newspaper because we're Filipino and we do not like to make a mess. And also, I have a lot of newspaper, so you're going to be seeing a lot of this in my future videos because I'm Filipino and I live with my grandparents, and all Filipinos are hoarders and they will hoard everything, including newspaper. But it'll keep your surface clean. So, alright, I'm gonna pull her out to see how the soil is. And I could already see the roots on the bottom, they're already coming out, so it might be root bound. But let's take a look at this baby. Alright. Whoa, check that root system out. I don't know if you can see it, but the roots look very healthy, and I always feel them if there's anything mushy. We want to make sure that we also don't want to disrupt the roots too much. So I'm just going to loosen it up a bit. And see, I haven't watered this one in about 2 weeks, and it's still really moist, more like wet. And during the winter time, they don't like that because then they'll get root rot. And we don't want your plants dying, especially if you spend a lot of money on it. Okay, so roots look good. Ooh. This plant is so tall, it's like hitting my chandelier. Oh, see, this one's a little soft here. So I'm gonna take my scissors and cut that off. Just because we don't wanna, spread any root rot. So this one, it's healthy. The tips are white. Okay, I'm just gonna loosen up these roots and get rid of some of this old soil. Ooh, see, it's starting to get root bound right here. And we don't want that. So just be very careful and very delicately. Okay. Just shake up the roots a bit. So far, so good. Oh, and if you're wondering why the microphone is amped up, it's because this is like a mukbang ASMR channel too. So why not ASMR this plant video, right? So you can hear the soil. This is so relaxing. There's some roots here that are just starting to get mushy, but if you have a really good root system, I think you'll be fine. But I'm just gonna cut off some of this soft roots just because I don't want any root rot to spread. Look at that root. Wow, amazing. And I wanted to mount this on driftwood that I ordered, and it hasn't arrived, so I made like a faux stake for it, and once the driftwood comes, I'll film another video so we can put the driftwood in there. So all the roots look good, nice and white, nice and healthy. But this one right here, I just want to loosen it up a bit because it is root bound, and I don't want it to get like that once it gets to the... There we go. Ooh, there it is. Look at that. Just be very gentle with it. And if you break a few roots here and there, it'll be fine. The root system is pretty great on this plant. And Monsteras, you know, they're very resilient. I think that's good. Okay. So, we are ready to pot. I'm smiling, you just can't tell. So we have some really great plant shops here in San Francisco, and Plants and Friends is one of my favorite shops. Support local businesses. Great customer service. The plant selections are great. Always healthy. Shout out to Hannah for always helping me. She's so sweet. So we're just going to push away the old soil. Oh, I'm like obsessed with this aerial root, you guys. Look at that. So good. And there's a few new growths, and I'm excited for this one to get really big and massive. I have a Monstera here too. She's getting big, but the leaves, they'll get bigger once she gets older. Okay, so now I am going to pot her. She was in an 8-inch, so I'm going to use a 10-inch pot. And I picked up this Momma plant pot from a shop near my house called Succulence. Sorry, my mask is getting all falling off, but picked this beautiful pot from a shop up on Cortland in San Francisco called Succulence. Again, one of my favorite shops. I'm like there every weekend. And I wanted to put her in a bigger pot because she's going to get big, and I really want this to get big, and I won't have to repot her for another year. And it's also same pot as my Thai Constellation. Love the two-tone. I'm going to take my soil, and if you have a question about my soil mix, I will talk about it in another video because I changed it up a bit to match the climate in San Francisco, but also my plants are loving it and they're not complaining, because if they did, I would be really sad and I would cry. Okay, so we're gonna take our pot, 10-inch pot. So this was an 8-inch pot, and you can see it's already like, it's pretty big. So move it up like probably two inches bigger. So I'm gonna fill my pot with soil. And you can see it's really chunky soil. And they love that. Because in the rainforest, Monsteras, they climb on trees and they look for the light up in the trees, so they cling on to the trunk of the trees that they're growing on. Okay, so we're just gonna fill this up with soil. Ooh, you hear that ASMR soil? All right. Let's see if this is good. So it's about 3 inches of soil right now in this pot. And I want to try to get her like yay high. Like yay high. Oh my gosh, my chandelier is like hitting the leaf. Please don't break. So I'm gonna actually move the pot here because it's hitting the chandelier and I don't want it to damage the leaf. So, okay. So I'm gonna add a little more. It's still a little too, this pot's so deep. Okay. Oh my god, and don't you love not like, I haven't like worn makeup in months and I usually wear makeup, so you're seeing me in my natural element, but with a mask, I don't need to wear makeup. Ooh, okay, let's get a little more soil in here. And you don't want to push down the soil. Let it just go in there and shake it up a bit. You want it to be loose because the roots need to breathe. So we're going to do that. Oh my god, if you hear any sound in the background, my grandparents are watching the Filipino channel. So it's not going to be any quiet videos coming forward. It's going to be loud because I live with my family and it's fun and it's loud and who cares, right? Okay, here we go. So we're going to put the plant in here. And I'm actually, so find the center of the pot. I think that's centered, no? It's still a little, I want it a little higher. So a little more. Okay, be gentle with her. All right, okay. So she is here. And I actually, when the driftwood comes, it's literally like it's like a 38-inch driftwood, and I'm gonna wrap it with some sphagnum moss, so it has this natural look like it's climbing on a tree. I want to give it like as close to its element as I can. So I created, this is like a faux pole that we're gonna use. So when the driftwood comes, I can just remove it and insert it back into the soil without disrupting the roots, because it's gonna be acclimating still. So I'm gonna give her a little tilt because when I put the pole in, so see, she's gonna cling on here, and when this leaf comes out and more aerial roots come out, it'll cling to the driftwood. So this is here, okay. So we have that. I'm gonna hold it firmly and keep it centered. And now I'm gonna fill in around it. And just lightly just fill it in. Don't press it down. You don't want your roots to suffocate. Woo. I'm gonna try to repot her as close to how she was before, so I do not stress her out too much. And we're going to give her a nice sip of water. Let's move this. And I love the aerial roots. You can cut it if you don't like them, but they're so like jungly. And I grew up in the Philippines and there's literally like monsteras climbing on trees and orchids, and it's so beautiful seeing the root system. You want to let them grow naturally. Okay, I think I made enough soil. Just the right amount, you guys. Okay, so put it in there. And I don't want to like bury her too deep. Pick some up. Okay, so the pole's here. So once the driftwood comes, I just take that out and insert the driftwood in there. Okay, I'm actually gonna get a little bit more soil because I'm out and I need just a tad bit more. Be right back. And I'm back. Okay, let's move this out of the way. I got a little bit more. Oh, I keep touching my mask and there's like dirt on it. So I got a little bit more soil just to cover slightly on the surface for the roots. Oh, obsessed. Can't wait till this plant gets really big and massive and my house becomes a jungle. Even though my grandparents are not liking it, but my grandpa likes it. He has so many plants in the Philippines growing up as a kid, and I was always obsessing over them. Perfect amount of soil. Okay, great. See, I'm just lightly moving the soil. I'm not pushing it down too firm, because once you water it, it'll go down as well. But you don't want to push it down too much because you want your plant to breathe. And then once the driftwood comes, we will attach this big beauty. Okay. I think she looks good. Oh my gosh. It's heavy. Just want to make sure all around good. I think I'm also going to tie her up for now, just so she's stable when watering. But so far, so good. All right. Ta-da! So there you have it. Repotted Monstera Deliciosa. I will give you guys an updated video with the driftwood once it comes. So yay, another new video. And then of course, from time to time, I'll be doing some mukbang videos here too to make you guys hungry. I wanted to thank you guys for taking the time watching this video. I hope it was informative. If you have any questions, please leave it on the comments below, or if you want me to film anything else regarding plants or questions about plants or food, you just leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, I hope you guys continue to grow with your plants and love them, and don't forget to talk to them every day because they can hear you. And yeah, and I'll see you guys next time. Annyeong!